Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tinola Agbabiaka. I'm a certified relationship counselor. Just in case you're joining this for the first time, today, this evening especially, I would like to talk about the ongoing domestic violence situation and the consequence. As a courtesy to the parties involved, I'm not really going to maybe call their names, but I'm going to talk about the situation, and I think it's about time that we did. Number one, let me start with the fact that another one bites the dust. That's just it. Another one has just gone down. And I do recall every now and then we have, thanks to social media these days, we have people bring this to social media, and we see how after coming they go back. And unfortunately, some live through it. Fortunately, some live through it, but unfortunately, a lot do die in it. So this particular situation that everybody is talking about, in fact, the way you see people giving their opinions and saying, I won't do it, I can't do it, why didn't they do this, and some people setting up interviews and, doing it. You would think that it is such an isolated case and it really, isn't what is really happening around in homes. As a counselor, I can tell you for free that a lot is happening. A lot. Now, while some of us may have chosen that path, and this was what I keep telling my clients, that irrespective of what you think is okay by you or what you can manage, can your children manage it? Because what you are doing is you're training your children to see your actions as the right things to do. For instance, someone who was raised in, when you find people say things like, what is this? It's not just a slap. It's not a big deal. Or your own is too much. If he has said he's sorry, or she has said he's sorry, so you should just forgive and forget, and it won't happen again. Lie. These people are as much as they are counselors, they are bad counselors and they are good counselors. And depend on who you're listening to. There's so many people who have no idea about counseling. Interestingly, that is one title, marriage counselor. Everybody happily, willingly takes that tag on. Yeah, I'm a counselor, but it just doesn't work that way. And because a lot of lives are involved, a lot of lives are at the mercy of whoever is counseling, whoever the counselor is. So this particular incident that I want to talk about was a woman who apparently had been with the spouse for well over 30-something years. The story goes that at 18, when she was supposed to be going to school, she used her school fees and gave to the man. That is, but the white elephant in the room is that people do not usually admit that the background plays a big role. What will make an 18-year-old think that, and how was she raised? That she will think that giving her a boyfriend then, because that wasn't her husband then, giving a boyfriend her school fees will make him love her more, perhaps, or stay with her. It's a and there's an indication of a background that pushed her into that. And usually from experience, until we get onto the counseling table and we're talking, that's when people usually come out with the truth of, oh yes, my daddy used to beat my mom used to beat my dad and everything. Usually people don't want to say that, except they come to maybe a counseling table or situation. So why am I saying this? Because all these things we don't wake up one day and be married to an abuser and suffer domestic violence. That is the lie that is being peddled. It's not something that you just wake up and he has been nice or she has been nice while dating and everything, and boom, just woke up and began to beat. No, that's not true. That's a big lie. Usually it would have been there during courtship. Occasional, sometimes it's not even a regular thing. Sometimes it's an occasional slip, depending on how guarded the perpetrator is, depending on how guarded and how much they want to marry the person, the victim. However, nobody can pretend forever. So there must be a slip. There must be something they chose not to tell anybody. And another thing is, usually those in talking about victims, they are usually, it's almost like they have no one but this person, So if an 18-year-old gave her school fees to a boyfriend, then something is seriously wrong from the foundation, and it has absolutely nothing to do with maybe people who couldn't get her out. Because if you look at if you take a look at situations whereby people find themselves unable to leave, is because they have built a life around that particular toxic situation. And it doesn't also help for those who say, stay there, pray about it, someday it won't happen again. This is not about praying. You don't stay in an abusive situation and be praying. You leave, and then if you wish, you can pray. Because self-preservation must come first. And I do know that we live in a culture where being separated or divorced is a taboo. It is, no matter what anybody says. Divorcees are looked at with disdain, and usually the women, the men are snapped up quickly. So they barely are divorced. When a couple divorce, the men are snapped up so quickly that they are no longer divorced, they are now remarried. But it doesn't work quite that way with women, because how it is to even get somebody to be able to take care of, propose. Single people haven't found anybody to propose to them, then a woman coming with children and everything. So that's really part of the challenge, the societal challenge. I do know that. And then if you're a divorced woman, some friends may be very careful, around you, especially if they're still married. It's the society just believes that it's the woman that had a problem, she couldn't stay. And until we work at these things, there are still going to be, unfortunately, many more people dying in marriages that they shouldn't, they have no business being in. Now, another thing also is, while raising children, you have to be able to tell them there must be deal breakers. You must have something that you won't take. If I recall as a young girl, I was told that if a man as much as even pushes me, go Joe, that's it, that one will beat you. That was what was in my head. So waiting for somebody to actually slap is not possible. It is not possible. So the minute there's harshness, somebody's talking to me in a harsh manner, somebody's behaving to me that's it. Take a stroll, take a walk, because for everyone who ill-treats you, there are millions of others who will treat the same person that somebody has ill-treated and treated like trash. Somebody else will treat like gold. You just need to find your own, and it's very important that we let our daughters, this is a charge really to mothers. Let your daughter know that it's okay. It's don't settle for nonsense. Don't settle for nothing. We women measure how they should be treated. We present how we should be treated, and that's just the truth. If somebody hits you, and that's it, then that's it. Somebody else will come. Because otherwise, the minute you forgive, this one has nothing to do with forgive and forget. Scripture has nothing to do with it, because beating, when they were scripture was saying forgive and forget, beating was not part of it, please. So anybody that hits you, there's nothing there that says domestic violence in the scripture that forgive and forget. The 70 times 7 has absolutely nothing to do with the scriptures. You're wrong. You take a stroll. And this is, I'm talking before you get married, before you make that decision that this is the kind of person. That's why dating and courtship period is very important. It's very key. We cannot afford to ignore or trivialize or skip over that period. So when an 18-year-old is not afraid to drop out of school because of a man, something is seriously wrong with that background. I'm telling you. Something is horribly wrong with her background. So we have two people now, who a lady who has from her youth handed over her life to a man. Of course, it's not going to, what you find gets easy, you don't value. Who values that? Nobody. That's the truth. If you pick something easily, you don't value it. And that's why everything valuable God hides. God has hidden everything that is valuable. God hid it. If you're looking for diamond, you will try. If you're looking for gold, you will try. Those who are, into that, they will tell you. It's not, but stones are everywhere. Are they of any value? Not of any value. Sand. It's not, at least not of the same value of gold and diamond. So if, as a young lady or woman, you choose to hand over your life to somebody else, then the person is going to trample on it. The person will jump up and down on it, trample, and make sure that you see and devalue it more if possible. So it's very important that we talk to our daughters that you are, you're a diamond, you're gold, you're precious, you are something of substance. You're not just something any man should trample anyhow, So that's really part of the beginning of the problem. I'm just, trying to analyze it, because yes, we have people who are crazy. There are crazy women, there are crazy men. But when they come together, that's when problems are. You can be crazy on your own, but when they say they are married and they come together, that's when the real issues start. So, okay, So that's a little bit about background, because the background has a lot. Then I keep telling people, when you stay in an abusive relationship and you're beginning to bring children into the world, the one thing that people should realize is that children are the parents are the first role model for children. So if anything the child sees, the formative years, it's from what the parents are doing. So that's why we have to be very, very, very careful. And I tell people, all that go for marriage counseling and everything is to affirm what is there again. I'm telling you. Otherwise, marriage counseling is usually just routine. Because these people coming for counseling are already formed. They've lived in. So I find myself doing a lot of post-marital counseling, because now they're willing to listen because there's something at stake. They're about to lose something. And that's for those who care. And there are not many, I tell you. They're about to lose something. Before they marry, they know they're getting married anyway. By the time you're scheduling marriage counseling, they've already agreed that they are married. So there's nothing you can say in counseling that will really, really make so much, of a big difference. So that's why it's very important that what we model to our children is key. We have to be very careful. We have to be more sensitive to when a man hits his wife, or the woman talks down on her husband in front of the children, or you're teaching them that that's normal, and that in their own marriage they can accept that. So another thing also, peer pressure, because when you have no direction at home, then you have people outside who are ready to tell you this is how and they come from different homes, different influences that you really can't, you won't even know. How many of our children's friends and family that we have done investigation into knowing exactly how the dynamics are, and that's why it's very important to raise your own child to be the influence rather than being influenced, badly. So okay, so on this particular situation, the woman has been married for many years to the guy. She still went ahead and married him, and unfortunately she kept having children. Like, who has 5 children for her? She kept having children, and usually by the time you find somebody having plenty children, there's something usually wrong with that marriage. That's the truth. Because for whatever reason, women think that having children changes how a man feels, and I beg to disagree. If you have 100 children like Leah, a man that will not love you will not love you. If you have no child, a man who will stay, and that is really the true test. So when people keep having children, pregnancy, before you know it, they are using pregnancy to settle quarrel. I don't understand that. I really don't understand. I think there should be a law that mandates that every married woman should really undergo birth control. Just once you are married, they fit you from the registry or wherever, they fit you with birth control, so that when you are having children, it's a decision that you have sat down, really thought about. Because in all this toxic relationships and marriages, it's the woman who ends up with the children, carrying them around. It's a woman. Yes, I know some people might say, why can't men too do birth control? It's your body. We are the one who carries the pregnancy. The carry pregnancy. I don't even understand how anybody will be willing to carry a pregnancy for a toxic or for a mad person, But it's women. It's on us. So I think we need to really educate women more on this birth control one, and then this idea of having children does not make, and it's unfortunately it's scriptural, because that was what Leah did. Leah kept having sons, but the man still no love her. That's just it. So a man who will not love you will not love you, no matter what you do. That's just the truth. And so this woman has 5 children. With her 5 children, it was not enough. She still, from all accounts, yes, the man is crazy, but if you ask me, I don't think there's anything new that the man is doing. I don't think so. I think it's always been like that. In fact, a man that collects money from an 18-year-old and allows her not to, continue schooling is a sick man. Is a sick person. So it's I mean, this is really a sad situation, and I can tell anyone for free that it's still happening. Because there's no one, there's still some people that will say, no, it's that one that ended that way, your own will be different. No. If a man, until women stop allowing some certain, and men too, it's just that for physical violence, I mean, really, let's face the truth, more men do that. But either way, because we live in a world now where everything is, don't shame the victim. Don't say, if the victim is the victim that will die, everybody else, after I give this story 2-3 days, everybody will get on with their lives until the next victim. So until a victim decides that I will not be a victim, they let them be going to people who will be saying, don't say that. That means you are blaming the victim. You are blaming. Sometimes the victim needs to be blamed for the head to be correct. Because a man cannot keep hitting you, giving you STIs or STDs, giving you all sorts of things, not taking care of the family, and you're still there and you still want to kill yourself. In fact, she ended up killing herself because of this man. That's the sad. And the man, I give it 1 year. Somebody else would have a baby for him. 1 year. Somebody else will move him. And those children, those 5 children, oh Lord, she has done them an injustice. Because who will raise them? Like Yoruba say, Ojolojo dabi ojo eni. Who will raise them? It's yes, those who are still wailing and crying and the mourners and everything, until it's time for the work. That's when you see who is really for you, when it's time to do the work. So I mean, keep having children for an abuser, please, women, no, don't do it, please. If the marriage is toxic. And then I know there's some counselors, some people will say, just have all your children in one place and then you can say you are finished. Then you can. No, don't do that. Why replicate a madman? Because the truth of the matter is the bloodline of that man is in your children, and ask people who it has happened to, they see it. It just doesn't go away like that. It's spiritual and physical. So why keep having children for somebody who doesn't love you? I don't understand it. I mean, I wish I could really interview Leah, you know, and that's what desperation does, because ultimately it's not going to happen. And the sooner we start loving and teach her children to love themselves, that if a man doesn't love you, then please, please, please get on with your life. Get a job. Get something doing. Because that's another challenge in staying in domestic toxic, you know, marriages and toxic, because they've had so many kids that they cannot take care of. I remember a lady told me once that her mom said, don't ever, that was the advice that one's mom gave her, that don't you ever have more kids than you can take care of. Don't go ahead and be having children. And then some will say, the man loves children. Who is carrying the children? Who is going to take care of them? And if, you know, that always manage to just keep yourself and have enough that you can take care of. And that's when a woman needs to work. You need to get something doing. I have women who come to me, they are not working. I can't understand it. How can you not be working? How? These days people do also, you don't even have to leave your house to do something to make money. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to leave your room sometimes. Some people write for people, they make money. Some people edit, they make money. Some people proofread, they make money. There are people who are middlemen, they don't do the products, but what they do is just try and, you know, market it on social media. They make money. You need to have an income, for goodness sake. You need to have an income, and that's part of the power. If you're spiritually weak or lame as a woman, trust me, abuse is very far. It's very near you. It's very near. It's coming sooner than later. So we have to be very, very careful and be able to talk to our children. And then another thing that I heard people talk about was, you know, people advising on social media, why didn't the family go and take her out? If you have a sibling, so you know, a friend who is in an abusive situation, you should go there, drag the person out. And I laugh because I know these people have never done what they are saying. If they have tried it, they will know it's impossible to save who doesn't want to be saved. They will block you. They will not talk to you again. They will, you know, it is impossible to go and drag somebody. You go and drag an adult from her husband's house because of what? You can't. And that's really the message. And I know and I hope that 1 or 2 or 3 people in similar situation would listen to this and know that if you don't save you, you are going to lose you. Nobody else can save. I have people who come to me, and if I had a particular situation that the problem was she had finally gotten the willpower and left the abusive marriage with her children, and the family set her up. They supported her. This is our own account. She said they supported her, they placed her on, you know, they took care of her, they put the children in school. 6 months later, she went to pick her children. She said she was going to pick her children from school. Before they didn't see her again. she disappeared with the children. By the time they found her, she was back in her husband's house with her 2 children. And this time around, before, the husband was allowing her to communicate with them. This time around, the husband decided that zero communication. He made her cut her entire family off. Cut all of them off. Apparently, all the while that they were still trying to set up, help her find her feet, she was secretly, this man found a way. Because I tell you, abusers are genuinely sorry. It's not pretense. Anybody that abuses you and is sorry, I can tell you for free that they are sorry. But you see, this thing is a spirit, an evil spirit that dwells within them. That after they are sorry, everything is back to normal. One day, without notice, it will just well up. And every time it comes back, it's reinforced. So they can't help, they need help. They need to be locked somewhere, and deliverance plus psychological, mental health. They are sick people. So if they are apologizing and they lock you down, they swear it won't happen again, they swear it was the devil, they blame everybody except them, and then if it's a woman that is in love with being in love, we just say, okay, I forgive you, and they will come back. And then anyway, the story I was sharing, this woman, after running there 6 months after, the man didn't do anything until I think 4 months later. He almost finished her. Now she says her family doesn't want to have anything. They are not even, she's trying to reach them, they are not. You can't blame them. You can't blame them. Everybody has issues. Please, if you choose to stay in an abusive situation, then so be it. Nobody can force anybody to leave. You have to make up your mind that not anymore. I am better than this. Until you as a person decide that, trust me, you are the one that will feel the pain. You are the one in the marriage, and you are the one ruining your children's lives. You just have to look at it that way. It sounds harsh, but that's the truth. Because one day, even if you don't die, you have set up your own children for a life of abuse, because you have presented to them that is how marriage should be. So these are the reasons why it's very important. If you're in an abusive situation, leave. Forget all those people that will say, even if those, when I cancel those in abusive situation, praying about it is even driving them crazy. Praying about it is driving. Pray far away. I'm not saying don't pray, because I believe in prayers, but stay away from the person that is hitting you, because it takes just one blow to end it all. So back to the full gist of this woman in a domestic violence that just recently killed. She actually did kill herself, from the accounts that have heard. And this account is even from eyewitness, her own family. She poured kerosene all over the place and struck a match, because in her mind she cannot leave the marriage empty. I don't know how somebody with 5 children and her life and her lifetime ahead of her would think living a marriage without house or car is empty. Which is still back to the values that have been instilled in this person. There is nothing, cars, houses, they can be replaced. She had 5 children. There were people willing to help her. She decided that she was going to, kill herself. And this is for all these young girls that think, marriage, I'll kill myself if he doesn't marry me. I'll kill myself. You just die for nothing. That's just it. We'll shout. Some people will come, talk about it like I am. And then it's the next topic. It's a survival's world. You really have to think of yourself. Think of the children that you have brought into the world, who didn't ask to come into the world. And, sit back and really talk about how your life is going to progress. 5 children. You can imagine if tomorrow one of those 5 children becomes the governor or the president of a country, or I can't even understand it. So these were 2 people sick, and the guy watched her. I don't know how she felt that. I think from what I heard, that she thought the man was going to stop her from incinerating herself. But alas, he did not. Somebody who doesn't love you, somebody who doesn't take care of your children, then you now want to burn yourself in front of him, and you're hoping that he won't. It's like, I didn't strike the match. You want to go, then you go. And that was exactly what happened. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But we really need to talk to I don't understand how she felt her life had ended just because a man didn't want her. I know people who have left marriages with even 5 children and found somebody to really love and take care of them. I know. I'm not talking of this, not stories or fable. This is real life. Because a man who's going to love you will love you, no matter how many children you are bringing from anywhere. I have incredible stories. So if you and then the same world that she's thinking, and then sometimes shame does not allow people to leave, because everybody has told them not to stay, and they keep hoping against hope. And by the time they find out that it's not, that shame of people will laugh at. Let people laugh. Whoever is laughing has their mouth to laugh. They will laugh anyway. People laugh. They will laugh anyway. Whatever, they will laugh anyway. And you just need to surround yourself with people who will empathize. Who will empathize with you, as opposed to, and situations happen. Please, I'm begging you, do not go to in issues like marital issues. I see a lot of people go to charlatans. People who, and I've said this, before you go to a counselor, allow anybody to counsel you on any matter. For instance, I will not go to a poor man to teach me about becoming rich. It's not going to be possible. Why didn't you help yourself? So whatever it is that you need help on in terms of counsel, please endeavor to go to someone who is not only knowledgeable on the matter, but who is living the lifestyle. And that is what is, yes, women staying in abusive marriages have low self-esteem issues. Until they believe they deserve more, they will forever be abused. Absolutely, I agree. We need to let our children, especially our ladies, our girls. I'm a mother, and I want my girls to know that. I keep saying, people, anybody coming to marry my daughters, we are going to check if you are deserving of them. I'm telling you, because it's not about getting married. There are too many stories, too many sad stories, too many people dying. I listen to some stories and oh my God, and I'm like, how is this possible? And it's so back to what I was saying in terms of who you seek counsel from. Please stop seeking counsel from charlatans. I know marriage counseling is one thing that everybody believes themselves to be. You're a counselor. Before you know it, they will call their friend. Usually when I have them on scheduling sessions with me, is when they've gone all round, they've spoiled everything. People have advised them to do rubbish, you know. So counseling, and in counseling, individuals are different. Even what worked for A may not, that the same dynamics may not work for B. Yes, the same big principle, but the dynamics may not be the same, because these two people are different from, there's no couple that is the same, exactly the same with another, because everybody has background. We have background issues, baggages. So it's just so many things that we brought on, experiences, you know. So it's very important to check that out. Now this woman is gone, leaving 5 children. The aunties that will show up, because clearly the man is one sicko. The kind of aunties that will show up in the lives of these children, oh my God. In fact, I'm not sure they will pray for their mother. I'm telling you, the kind of aunties that will deal with them, because even if they don't live with the father, to get anything or acknowledgement, and every child needs to be loved by either both the father and the mother, to get anything from that man will be blocked by whatever auntie that is going to replace their mother and her own children. And that's the gospel truth, whether we like them. So as women, I mean, this is for, I'm really grieved in my spirit, because I keep reading a lot of comments, you know, about this situation, and I just know that it's medicine after that. It's medicine after that, and that's why I'm doing this, so that those of us with children who are getting into relationships know that they are worth more. These days I keep getting various people getting married and everything. I have questions. I have plenty questions, but I cannot ask because they did not ask me. And that's what happens in our society. They will not ask you. They will just send you invitation, and you're supposed to be excited and happy. And I am, but I always have questions. And I keep telling people, before I got married, though the circumstances of my marriage was strange, I asked questions, I drilled, I talked. No, I did. My husband can bear witness. I asked. There were things that I wanted. I spoke about it. I didn't go to marry like I wasn't a mumu bride. Yeah, I wasn't. So, and it's very important, because not necessarily because the other party may be maybe out to maybe do evil or have an evil agenda, but it's good to know what you're stepping into. It's good for your spouse to understand your expectations, because in counseling I do see that a lot of people have expectations. There's nobody that walks down the altar that says, this won't last a year. Nobody. They always believe that it's going to last forever. But then we see. I was speaking to someone recently, and she was telling me how fantastic family wedding that she went to, that she was telling me, said they spent money. That they spent money. I said, I missed it. He said, yes. So he said, but the marriage didn't last 3 months. You can imagine. And then a few days back, I sat with my husband. I was remembering some things about my own wedding and how, there was just nothing. But then there was God. There was God. And I think that's the most important thing. So as parents, as mothers, as counselors, because they're good ones too, let's remember to, in handling domestic violence issues, and for the victims, like I said earlier, it's in your hands. If you have decided that you want to die there, there's nothing anybody can do. They can just be praying for you from afar, and oh well. So you need to sit up and really evaluate that. Is this me? Is this what I'm good for? Is this am I deserve better than this? Okay? And deserving better does not even mean you're maybe remarrying or anything, but it's just in having peace of mind, because that's really what matters. Your peace of mind and the mental health of both you and your children. So that's basically, I didn't bring in guests today because I just wanted to talk about this. I'm thinking, I thought bringing in guests, I'll probably do that another time. And we've spoken about, I've brought guests for domestic violence before, but then different situations. I just needed to address the one going, and everybody's talking and talking. What they don't know. So if you find yourself dating, it starts from dating. It doesn't start from marriage. Check well. Who am I dating? Even shouting at you is an indication of this one is going to be wicked. Shouting, yes, calling you names. Because I know a lot of people that it's not physical abuse, it's the emotional one. Verbal abuse. I've heard incredible, terrible things that people have told, terrible things people have told their spouses in the name of I want to be mean. Anybody that's going to be mean to you, please do not marry the person. Please. It's not going to change. Even if he's sorry, she will not change even if she's sorry. And when you have people who are toxic, two toxic people coming together, exactly what has happened in this couple's lives, that has been drastically, this family that has been drastically damaged. That's what will happen. So I guess I'll just stop here for today. It wasn't supposed to be a long one, and I think I've gotten the message across. So please follow. Next week we'll try and come up with another interesting topic. On Timeless with Tino, we basically talk about relationship issues and how to manage them. So till next time, thank you for joining, everyone who joined. I'll see you next week by God's grace. My name remains Tinola Agbabiaka. Bye.